Hey, how's it going? Mike here, back with the Usagi Podjimbo podcast. I'm your host, as always, and we are back again, reading and looking at some Usagi Yojimbo. We are looking at today. Uh, I've been actually calling it by the wrong name, apparently, in the last couple podcasts, but this is the next big, huge story arc after the little one shots, one issue stories that we've been reading, but they have referenced here and there occasionally. I believe at one point Tomoe references us that a storm is coming. And this is the Dragon Bellow Conspiracy, Chapter 1, The Clouds Gather. And so we get this cool, like, couple pages where Tomoe Tomoe is running through the storm, and she is trying to escape these guys from capturing her or coming after her, basically. And we see she is fighting them off fairly well, but sadly, her horse dies, and her horse gets stuck with the spear by one of the people, and she's basically like, I can't, uh, I can't stop, And he's like, oh yeah. The guy's like, oh yeah, she's a demon. She's a demon. We gotta kill her. She falls down, gets hurt, and she's like, I can't fail. I gotta get back to Lord Noriyuki, who is her lord, who happens to be a panda bear. He is somebody we have met before in the past story here and there occasionally. It's been a while since we've actually seen Lord Noriyuki and Tomoe to begin with. But we see her transition, not transition, but like she she's remembering something that happened before this event, and she is talking to Lord Noriyuki and their little doggy out there. And Lord Noriyuki says he's troubled. He's been hearing reports of unusual activities at the see if I can pronounce this right, Takamuru Fortress, which is a neighboring province, and apparently Takamuru, or what's his name, Takakuro, Tak Taka. I can't even say this name right. I had to have Google Translate help me with this. It's Takakuro. Takakuro. Tamakakuro. Tamakakuro, I think it says. Who he is actually a supporter of Lord Hikiji. Apparently, there's some unusual activity happening there. And apparently, they're getting a lot of supplies and stuff for this particular place. But there's no workers anywhere, just ronin or samurai. And Tomoe is sent to basically go investigate this from Lord Noriyuki. She gets sent off to a dangerous mission, apparently, but Lord Noriyuki tells her to be very careful and watch out for what she's doing and stuff like that. And so we get this scene where a few days later, damn it, my brain just had a brain fart. Tomoe goes to Lord Tamakuro's fortress, and she shows up, and we see Lord Tamakuro, and I cannot say this name right, Lord Tamakuro. We're just gonna call him that. Shows up, and she says, "Thank you for letting me come here to visit." And Lord Tamakuro is like, what's going on? Why is Lord Noriyuki being so friendly nowadays? He's been so distant recently. He doesn't want to work with us. But apparently, they are neighboring lords. Apparently, their lands are right next to each other. And apparently, Tomoe tells the pig man, who we already know, the pig man Tomakuro is going to be a bad guy, because right now you can see it. He's got like a mustache, but it's like one of those like mustaches that curl up. He's very much like stroking, playing with his mustache, being a bad guy. Very much like Dick Dastardly like. And we find out that, they want to work together and stuff like that, and, he's like, oh, it's very commendable, like, on the part of a young lord, that we will receive you in the spirit the same way he did, and stuff like that. And, he's like, oh, thank you, my lord. And later that night, we see Tomoe. Tomoe is sneaking around, lurking around this particular establishment, and she sees some guys guarding this building. It's heavily guarded, and she happens to get a distraction. She gets her men to pretend to be drunk, and she gets them to basically distract and have them drink with the guards, which is a pretty funny sight to see, I have to say. I love the scene because it's like, hey, how's it going? We're the Ginshu samurai, and he's like, oh, come have a drink with us, blah, blah, blah. And you see them, they're down and back sake and stuff like that, which is pretty funny to see. And, apparently it's disgraceful for a samurai to drink, as Tomoe says, as she sneaks into this building and whatnot. And so Tomoe finds these, what she appears to be, she thinks that they're roof tilings. But sadly, they're not. They're actually made of like lead, I believe. And because they're really heavy, and she drops one, and she's like, oh my God, this is lead, what is this, and she opens up another box, and she finds basically a box of like flintlock pistols. Apparently something's going on, and somebody's ready to start a war, because she's got all this lead and black powdered rifles. Apparently somebody wants to confront the Shogun himself, apparently. Meanwhile, outside we see one of the I guess he's like one of the head ronin or head samurai guys. He shows up, and they're like, oh, captain, he's like, oh, you see all these guards, they're all drunk at this moment. And they're basically being reprimanded by this captain. And out of nowhere, you hear the sound, and throwing stars get thrown at Tomoe, which is really cool. And you see, like, oh no, a ninja, and the Neko cat shows up, and Tomoe happens to kill this cat gracefully. And you see the guys, the guards realize somebody's in this particular establishment, this place. They're going to go in there. They're like, oh, call more guards, guards. And then you see Ginshu men, to me, kind of like, to me, my X-Men. And Tomoe breaks out through this door and valiantly, I would say valiantly and viciously, fights these men. It's going crazy. It's an all-out battle right now. And Tomoe's like, I need a horse. Give me a horse. I need to get to Lord Noriyuki. And the guards are trying to seal the gates and whatnot. And she gets through, and she's like, my men will not have died in vain. Why will they have died in vain? What if they just get held captive? How do we know that they've died? Maybe the rival lord does not see it this way. I don't know. Who knows? But she's going through the rain, trying to get in. But, it turns out she actually had failed. And then you see elsewhere, we see our friend Ginisuke, or I like to call Gin, shows up, and he's kind of like cussing, swearing. He's like, I gotta get this bounty. Where's Zato-Ino? I gotta find him. And he's going through the rain, and it's raining pretty hard. He comes across some old friends of ours that we actually seen prior. We see the woodcutters, and he goes to ask them, hey, have you seen this blind swordspig around? And they're like, no, we haven't. And basically, Gin is very, very upset that Zato-Ino Zato-Ino is making him like work for his bounty, basically. And I love this scene. I think it's hysterical. And then elsewhere, we see Zato-Ino himself escaping the rain and the storm, and he's glad to find a place for shelter. Him and Spot are still alive somehow. I don't know but they're still alive. And these three other men show up. They're trying to get out of the rain. They're wanderers. They just need to share the fire with Zato-Ino, who might add is a blind swordspig with a prosthetic nose. And I still don't know how he got into a fight with Usagi at one point, twice actually. And one of the times he got his nose cut off. So yeah, I got a prosthetic nose. That's a good issue. You should go back and read that issue. Uh, but we see all the wanderers sleeping. Sadly, it is to no avail. The wanderers are actually bounty hunters, and Zato-Ino takes these guys out, no problem. Slash, slash, cut, cut. I like this scene. It is very cool. We find out that they are bounty hunters, and Zato-Ino and Spot end up traveling off because they need to find their piece. Because the one thing is that Zato-Ino is looking for is basically he is looking for a place to call home, a peaceful place to call home, might I add. But meanwhile, we see Usagi is walking through the rain. He's like, darn, this rain, it made me lose my way. So Usagi is lost, but he is wearing like this really cool, like, I don't know if it's like a grass, like, cape or like a cloak or something. I don't remember what they're called. He's wearing like a hat, but he's got to make it to the Gishu Castle to try to, what did he say? He's just try to get to the castle for some fellow travelers. Apparently, he got directions and he got lost. Apparently, Usagi happens to hear some hooves going in the distance, horses, and he's like, oh no, I gotta get out of the way. And he's like, splash, splash, splash. Usagi gets soaked with mud, and he's like, do you samurai know no point politeness? And he happens to get shocked, and he see Tomoe, I would say our main character for this particular issue, to be honest. You have to see that, he sees her and she's tied up, bound, and she notices that he is actually walking down the road, and he's like, I've got to help her. That's my friend. I got to help her. And he is off to help Tomoe. And so our issue ends with basically our four different characters: Usagi, Tomoe, Gin, and Zato-Ino. And we can't forget Spot, because Spot's in there too. They are basically on the way to the same location, because it turned fine. It's kind of one of those things. You got to get your characters all to the same spot, and that's where this issue ends. They're all going to be gathering. I guess out of the storm or in the storm, going to the Lord's Castle. This was a very interesting first issue for this particular issue for the start of a longer running story arc. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked that Tomoe got a very big emphasis in this book in particular, because I feel like one thing that Stan Sakai does fairly well, actually, is that he does confident, strong female characters. And she is definitely one of those things. And a lot of things are being brought together. Like, we're getting all of our characters into one place for this big event that's going to happen with Tomakuro and his guns trying to take over the shogunate, and stuff like that, which is cool to see. It's very much is a conspiracy, to say the least. I do like that Tomoe got a very big spotlight in this. That's probably the biggest thing that I liked about this, because she is such a cool character. I liked all the action. I liked the craftiness of her. I liked in the background that there's like maybe potentially ninjas involved in the future issues. Like maybe the Neko ninjas are going to get really involved in this, because something is going to happen, obviously. But yeah, it is cool. It's a good issue. It's a good start to a story that hopefully is good. Who knows? But yeah, the artwork is impeccable as always. Because I'm reading from the Usagi Yojimbo Origins Volume 3. And but yeah, we'll see you guys on the next issue, or next issue, I guess you could say, which is chapter 2 of the Dragon Bellow Conspiracy, which will be The Wind's Howl. And I can't wait to see where this actually goes, because I'm really looking forward to the I have to say actually the Gin and Zato-Ino fight, which I've been seeing a lot of pictures of, because I'm actually reading this for the first time for the podcast. It's kind of like I guess you could say uh, I don't know, a first impression of reading Usagi Yojimbo, I guess you could say. But thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this particular podcast episode. Go back and check out my other episodes if you haven't already, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out. Stay safe. Go read some Usagi Yojimbo.